Could you expand a little more about forensic, please?
So yes, I'm a CSI, so I get to wear those funny white paper suits. Forensic botany is part of sort of environmental forensics, and we often work in conjunction with forensic entomologists and forensic archaeologists and forensic anthropologists. There are several strands to the work I do. One will be linking a suspect with a crime scene. So if you decide to throttle Malcolm, bash him over the head with a brick, and then bury him in a shallow grave in a wood, you may, during the process of doing that, pick up some plant fragments which you could then take home on your clothing, your footwear, or your car or bike or whatever it is, or the wheelbarrow that you wheeled him into the wood in. And I would be called upon potentially to link those vegetation fragments that belong to you to the crime scene. That's one strand of the work I do. Another strand I do is working with the police and forensic archaeologists to help locate murder victims. So if they've got a large area of landscape where they have, for intelligence reasons and an understanding that a person is likely to be, I will work with those other experts to make an assessment of the vegetation and look at it from my understanding of landscape and plants, and provide some guidance as where they should focus their search. So if they're going, we've got 20 fields in a farm, you need to look on this particular hedge boundary, for example. Particularly if we've got some background information that might be associated with the suspect around soil type, pollen information, vegetation fragments, we'd link it. The last and most gruesome element is that on discovery of what we call a deposition site or a grave, I will work with forensic anthropologists to collect information about the vegetation around the grave scene and sometimes in the grave scene to help put some finer context into terms of when that person ended up there. Say if it was a relatively historic, if they've been there for several years, and also relatively subtle things like help understand how the grave was dug, what impact that had on the vegetation and the environment, and also within the crime scene, are there fragments of vegetation from other locations which can help link the body to another place where they may have been murdered. So, but each case will be completely different because vegetation and landscape is very different, very complicated. So you usually get to a new site and go, this will have to happen in a very different way from the last time.
Yes. Well, I know a lot of people will find that an extremely interesting aspect of your work. So once again, thank you very much for your time this morning.
It's a pleasure, as ever.